Hello and welcome to In the Kitchen with Grandma and Leah. Today I'm going to be teaching all of you how to make Dick's famous apple pie, which is a pie that has been in my family for a while. My grandmother taught my mother.
Who are you talking to?
Okay, this is grandmother Lorraine. She isn't used to being on camera.
Who's that?
She's a little bit senile, but this is her, and we're gonna make a pie. We're gonna make a pie.
We're gonna make a pie.
We're gonna make a pie, yeah. Alright, not just any pie. Dick's famous apple pie. And get excited, folks, because I'm gonna teach you all the secret ingredients, and this is gonna be a fun show. Now, before I get into any of the ingredients that make up the famous Dick's apple pie, we gotta get into the important things, and that's preheating the oven. First, you preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Turn it on to bake, and give it about 10 to 15 minutes to heat up. Come on over here and look at these ingredients. A cup of flour, and you also are going to need a stick of butter, a cup of sugar, cheese, Kraft singles or just any singles, a pie pan. And then you're going to need a lot of apples. Not just any kind of apples, you're going to need Granny Smith, isn't that right?
What kind of apples you need?
Granny Smith apples, Grandma! You're going to need Granny Smith apples! She's senile.
You need Granny Smith.
And then you get to start preparing. That's the fun part. Okay.
Where's the cinnamon, Leah?
Oh! What would I do without you? You also need cinnamon.
You want to be alive.
Just 1 second. Alright, The crust is really simple. In fact, when you think pie crust, you don't usually think Dick's apple pie crust. It's just, there's just something so simple about it. Isn't that right, Grandma? It's so simple. So simple. Yeah. Flour, and sugar, and butter. You can add that right in. You want to add the sugar, Grandma? You want to, oh, she's shaking. Okay. No, she's, oh, what a silly woman. Right there. Good for you. Alright, and now the butter. But you can't add the butter in like this. It's too hard. Too hard. Won't stir in. So, the simple fix is to add it into the microwave. Our butter has, oh, it is melted. Oh, would you look at that. Look at this. It is gooey and delicious. You just add that right into the fixins. Yeah, butter. Yep, that'll clog your arteries right up. Right, Grandma? Now, I usually work in the kitchen. I don't usually work around power tools, so this part always gets me a little nervous. But here we go. Alright. Oh, be careful. Keep your phalanges away from the side of the bowl, because one time it nicked me.
Blood everywhere! I almost lost my thumb.
Yeah.
Almost. So close.
So close. This is different. This is Dick's apple pie crust.
This is Dick's apple pie crust?
Dick's apple pie crust, and it's just supposed to crumble in your fingers like this. And yeah, you'll see what we do with this in a little bit. First things first, you want to start by making a little indent in the apple in the top. And then you use your knife and lightly make a circle around the top of the apple. Now, you don't have to go this slow all the time, but if you're beginning, then that's how you peel an apple, slowly and with patience.
It used to take Leah 6 years
6
to peel
years.
one apple. The slowest of my grandchildren.
Wow. Oh. So, once you have the start of it, your goal should be to get through the entire apple without having to restart the knife. And what I mean is just to make a circle around the entire apple. And I'll show you in a second. is usually the time where when we would make apple pie, we would sit around together. Oops, I failed. See, I got a quarter of the way, not even.
She's a failure.
Failure. This is the time where we'd sit around and just share some stories, you know, talk to each other about life, about how things are going at school, boys, whatever. And yeah, so this is, I think, the time where I probably bonded with my mother the most, making apple pie. It just forces you to slow down and really focus in on the task at hand, but yet you have a lot of time to just sit and talk to each other. That's a peeled apple. Alright, so Grandma and I successfully peeled all of the apples. They're over here. And now you're left with kind of a mess. Is put these in a bowl. And I'm going to actually go feed them to the squirrels. Because Grandma, you love squirrels, don't you? She loves them.
Bless their hearts.
Bless their hearts. Yeah, they're just such hard workers, so she really just has a special place. And she's crying. I told you. She really loves them. So we're going to go feed these to the squirrels, and I'll be right back. First things first, you cut the apple right down the center. And then you cut it into fourths. Just like this. And then what I like to do is just hollow out the apple. Now you really don't have to do it this way, it just depends on how you do it. But yeah, so basically you're left with this. No core, you shouldn't have any skin on the apple. If there is skin on the apple left over from your minions not cutting or peeling the apples correctly, then you just peel that right off by yourself. Take the initiative. Once you have the apple cut into fourths, peeled, and ready to put into the dish, there's one more step. You have to slice it. And when I say slice it, I mean you... Grandma, there's a seed. You can't have seeds. Alright. You have to slice it into... No seeds in the apple.
A little bit of arsenic might hurt anybody.
You have to slice it into very distinct sizes. If you peel the apple too thin, or slice the apple too thin, then the pieces of apple in your pie will be too flimsy. You won't have good chunks of cooked apple, and it won't be a good pie. And then basically you're going to do that with all your apples. So see you in a little bit. And you don't want to dump too much in one area, but you do kind of want to burp the cinnamon. And just apply it
vigorously
all over the pie.
Cover it.
Cover it up.
Bury it in cinnamon.
Bury it. So you may have heard of cheese and apple pie before, but you might not have ever seen it done. Well, Dick's Famous Apple Pie does it. And you don't want to just lay the cheese on top in a big square. You kind of want to split it in half. And then just apply it around. This is really simple and actually a really fun part of making the pie. You just take handfuls of your crust and carefully place it on top and let it crumble. Not on the floor like I just did, but preferably on top of the pie. If you see any apples peekabooing outside, just cover them up with a little bit of crust. It's really simple, really easy. It doesn't have to be beautiful, and that's the great thing about Dick's Famous Apple Pie. It's not necessarily gorgeous, it's just what it is. It's
just like our Leah.
You want to get out the cinnamon again, just a dash, and burp it over the top of the pie. Whenever I make this pie, my dad always yells at me to place a cookie sheet below the pie, because when it does bake, helpful tip, it overflows and gets in the bottom of your stove. It's not really that beautiful, but it's going to be delicious. In about 50 to 55 minutes, we're going to pull this guy out of the oven, so let's put it in the oven first. And 50 minutes later, more like 52, the pie is ready, and it is ready.
Golden brown.
Golden brown and overflowing. It's a good thing we put that pan down, like my dad would say. Alright, here we Here. Oh yeah. And we are ready to eat this pie. It needed 10 to 15 minutes to cool, but it seems to be ready now. You can tell with Dick's famous apple pie, there isn't really a special order. It just kind of comes out as is. The crust just crumbles everywhere, and you kind of have to put the pieces together, and that's the great thing about Dick's apple pie. Oh, look, it's Grandpa. Grandpa, I'm gonna give you a big old slice of your favorite apple pie.
Oh, you are just the sweetest thing. You know what I like.
And it wouldn't be pie without some vanilla ice cream.
Hurry up, Leah.
Okay, Grandma.
We're not getting any younger.
You're my only
Except for
friends. Alright, well that's all for today's show. Thank you for joining us. Grandma and Grandpa obviously enjoyed that recipe, and I really enjoyed teaching you guys how to make Dick's famous apple pie. It's a really simple recipe, but it's something that really does bring a family closer together, and a dish that you can make quickly and share it with your family and friends within less than an hour. So I hope you guys enjoyed this fun experience, and hope I see you again soon.